Hey guys, welcome back. It is week 12 and the final wrap up. Stick around to the end of this one because I'm going to give my total overall opinion on what went right, what went wrong, and whether or not I'd ever do this again. So stick with me. I'm just going to run through numbers real quick. Um, all in all, numbers were up on all the channels. I did see that they were increasing on two specific channels, and those are the channels that I'm going to pursue from here on out. The other ones maybe not necessarily falling by the wayside, but it'd be much less of an urgency to continue posting there in a daily or multi-daily fashion. I do have to admit that this last week was absolutely horrible. I, for lack of a better term, shit the bed on the last week because the burnout I was done. So not a lot of content got posted last week. I missed all of my marks for the week. And I'm just being honest with you because that is part of social media. I've heard it from many, many, many people that burnout gets to you. Burnout probably would have gotten to me a lot later if I hadn't done this intense of a 12-week challenge. But it is what it is. I was also preparing for my new job, which I started this week. So now my time is going to be restricted even more. Lots of paperwork to fill out, those types of things whenever you get a new job. But all in all, the winners were ironically YouTube Shorts. Don't get me wrong, the shorts are going to probably take a little bit of a backseat as far as like trying to get one out every day. But YouTube Longs were good. And Pinterest, my impressions were off the frickin' charts. And that was basically just sharing the video that I shared on Instagram or on YouTube Shorts on a daily basis. And I don't know if I'm going to continue that daily. I think it will probably be a little bit less than that, but I'm going to dig into that and see what to do and how to set that up better because I saw so much traction on that. And YouTube, while I didn't see like the traction that I saw on Pinterest, I also understand the power of evergreen content. And I saw it for myself. I was seeing shorts get views week after, 2 weeks after they were released. Whereas on Insta and TikTok, it just didn't, like, 3 days it's gone. Like, you're not getting any more views unless somebody goes and strolls your profile, which happens far too infrequently, and it just didn't produce for the amount of work that I was putting into those channels. So the big takeaway from all of this is that social media is hard. It's very hard, and I don't really have that much of a background in any of it. I would probably caution anyone that's preparing to do anything like this or trying to launch a channel or whatever. I would do your research before and get a better idea of what you have to do in order to get these things rolling. Which my fault. I just kind of jumped into it. I was already, had the business, had the artwork started, had, all of the ducks in a row as per se, with the exception of, knowing exactly what I was doing on social media. And there's so much content out there. But I've learned a lot along the way. But if I had to pick one, in fact, I'm starting another channel about a completely different topic. This genre, this niche is very, very specific. I did not expect to blow up and have, 100,000 views after 12 weeks and things like that, because it's just not that type of a niche. It is very specific. It's my artwork. It's not, I don't think, ever going to blow up as a channel, which is fine because I enjoy doing it, except for the last 3 weeks of this challenge. The last 3 weeks of this challenge, the fun was completely gone. It was completely work, grind, work, grind, work, grind, and it was not what it needs to be, because I really enjoy YouTube and I really enjoy doing this stuff, and I really enjoy bringing honest, relatable content to YouTube. So I'm going to go forward with YouTube, probably one video a week, probably a couple, maybe 3 shorts a week just interspersed in there, because I am seeing a response to the shorts with the different art images that I create. So that's going to be moving forward. Like I said, I'm going to dig in a little bit more on Pinterest when I have time to do some other things on Pinterest and see if I can level that up a little bit, just by learning more about how Pinterest works and how to be effective on Pinterest. So everything's going to kind of come to a slow lull for a little while, just simply because I got to deal with the burnout. I got to get back to having fun. And that's one of the reasons why I developed another channel, is because the fun for this was gone because of the 12-week challenge. And I needed something to look forward to. I needed something to do. If you're interested in that channel, it's going to be about my journey from being in debt, overweight, and not knowing a damn thing, to moving to Spain over the course of the next couple of years from the U.S. So that's called Spain Impossible. I'll leave a link to it in the comment, in the description. How about I'll leave a link to that in the description. If that's something that's interests you, head on over there. If you kind of like the relatable content that I put out, and the honest, just kind of, hey, I'm a grandpa and I raised 6 kids type of content. But I'm going to be covering all different kinds of things there. The artwork will continue because I love it. I'm finally getting my creativity out after all these years. The channel itself, Kaosivity, the website, all of those things, Etsy, art, sales of artwork and merch will continue. The vodcasts of behind the scenes, like actually watching me work on these AI images that I generate and turning them into my art, will continue on this channel. It's just going to be a little more sporadic. It'll probably still be once a week, maybe one video a week and one behind the scenes a week, because I've got this full-time job now, and my knee is still not 100%, but they're aware of that and they know everything's good, and we'll move forward there. But 10 weeks without an income, and now I've still got 2 weeks to wait before I get a paycheck. So 12 weeks without an income really kind of crushed our family. But this has been an outlet, and this has been a building session for building out the channel, and I've learned a lot, and I'm going to continue that with this channel as well as my other channel, and I'm just going to continue at a pace that's enjoyable. So to wrap everything up, the 12-week challenge, would I recommend anybody do something like this? Number one, I would say know the animals that you are dealing with. Know Insta and TikTok and Pinterest and Etsy and all of these things. Do your research beforehand. Understand what needs to go into them to activate the algorithms, so to speak. And even with YouTube, I would recommend doing a lot of that. I've heard a lot about starting a channel and then spending a few weeks watching the exact content of the type of content that you're going to create. And that's what I've done with Spain Impossible. I have had that channel up for a couple of weeks now, and every time I'm watching anything about moving to Spain, different towns in Spain, all these other things, that I watch on that channel, because I want to make sure that if it's true, that YouTube gets the fact that that's the main focus of that channel. So I would suggest doing those things. I would not suggest for anyone to try to put together a 12-week challenge like this, simply because it burns you out way too fast. If I had a 40-hour week job through this whole thing, I would have given up probably around week 6, because I was just getting burned out so quickly, even though I wasn't currently working. So I would not suggest this to anyone. I will probably post in a future video like the sheets that I use that you can grab if you want to, and just download them and see what the whole process looked like on a day-to-day basis. But it's not something I would sell. It's not something I condone to do. If you're going to do any of these things, my one thing that I took away from this is to focus on one channel, one outlet at a time. So if you want Insta, go to Insta, or TikTok. If you want TikTok, go to TikTok, and understand what you need to do with that algorithm, whether it's 3 posts a day, a mixture of carousels, reels, lives, whatever it is. Understand what it is that's going to kick you up a notch in there. But for me, YouTube is where it's at, because it is evergreen content. I see people looking at videos that I posted 4 months ago. I see people looking at shorts I posted several weeks ago. I did not get that response at all on TikTok and Instagram in any sizable fashion. So having evergreen content, the nature of what YouTube is number one. It is, and I would encourage you to make YouTube your number one focus, no matter what niche you're doing, no matter what your intent is with this kind of stuff, because it has the shorts. If shorts and Insta and TikTok are your type of thing, do them on YouTube. Just do YouTube shorts, and drop a long form video once a month if that's all that you have within you to do. I'm going to be dropping videos on both channels once a week, and I will be throwing out some shorts as I create new stuff. And from here on out, it's going to be YouTube, and trying to figure out a little bit better with Pinterest. If you have any kind of an artsy thing going on like I do, I would definitely suggest Pinterest. And you may want to start with Pinterest because of the amount of traction that I saw. I mean, I had 67,000 impressions last month. So that's a huge amount of people just seeing, oh, what's that? And not necessarily clicking on it, not necessarily doing any of that kind of stuff. But I had more saves on Pinterest last month than I had likes on TikTok and Instagram combined, even though I've picked up followers, and a lot of my followers on Instagram and TikTok have been fantastic. They like everything I put out there, trying to help me. But for me, for my time, my dollar of time, YouTube is definitely where it's at for anything, any kind of channel, any kind of niche. And because you have the combination of longs and shorts, and in longs you have 3-minute videos, 8-minute videos, 12-minute videos, 20-minute videos, hour-long videos, if that's what you do. But if you're in the art world realm, which I would assume anybody that's watching Kaosivity is in the art world, I would suggest putting some time and effort into Pinterest. Would I suggest doing the 12-week challenge to this stuff? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Keep it fun, keep it light, and make stuff that you want to make. Because having a 12-week challenge like this is simply cranking out content. And it was no fun. It was absolute. In the beginning, it was fun because it was a challenge. By the end of the challenge, it was no fun. Absolutely no fun. And I'm not doing this. I didn't get into business and get into art and get into these things to not have fun. If I wanted to do that, I'd go start a restaurant, which I've done before. I've had 2 of them, and it's no fun. I thought it was going to be the greatest time of my life, and it was no fun. So do what you're going to do. Keep it fun. Keep it light. Keep it within what you're capable of doing. Obviously you can learn, but keep it where you can keep it, and don't do something like what I did. That's the moral of this story. Don't do something that I did, because now I've got to try and recover and get the fun back into what I'm doing. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you stuck around to the end. Like I said, if you have any interest in moving to Spain or whatever, I'm going to trickle on that channel, Spain Impossible. Things are going to continue here on Kaosivity, here on the website Kaosivity, on Etsy under Kaosivity. But the other channels are probably going to be very minimal content from here on out. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for keeping me accountable. Thanks for all the subscribes that I've gotten. Thanks for all the likes I've gotten. Thanks for all the comments I've gotten. And if you like this kind of content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to it, and I will see you guys on the next one. Remember, let the chaos out. Become creative.